So here's a good related rates problem. Gravel's being dumped from a conveyor belt. I was looking for the keyword. There's a keyword. It's forming a cone. So there's this conveyor belt that goes up like this, and then the gravel drops down, and then it makes a pile. And of course it's going to be small at the top and then bigger at the bottom. And then it makes a cone. Like that beauty right there. And for a cone, you need to know what's the radius on the bottom and how tall is it? The h. And the volume, because that feet cubed means volume. So we need to know the volume of a cube. So just Google that real quick. Hey Google, volume of a cone. Thanks, Google. So there's the formula for the volume of a cone. Okay. Now the thing is, it's got three variables, V, R, and H. Now, it also says the base diameter and the height are always the same. So base diameter means go all the way across. So this and this, those red ones are always the same. Well, diameter means two radiuses or radii. So 2 radiuses is equal to the height. So that means that I could, in place of this h, I could put 2r, or I could solve for r, which would be h over 2, and then I could plug that in there. Depends on what's being asked for. How fast is the height? So the question is talking about or asking about h. So we should leave h in there and instead replace the r. So over here, r is equal to h divided by 2. Then substitute that in. So r gets replaced with h over 2. It's still squared and it's still times h. And then I should simplify this a little bit. So 1/3 pi, that could stay there. But this is going to be h squared. And then times another h, so that's h cubed. And the bottom part needs to be squared, so that's over 4. Or in other words, pi over 12 h cubed. Now, this right here is volume over time. So that's the derivative of the volume with respect to time is equal to a 40. It also says when the pile is 10 feet tall, so that means h equals 10. Something I may have mentioned before, but it's worth mentioning again. In word problems, make sure the units are the same. So this is talking about feet, and that's talking about feet. So if this was in inches, I would have to change it to feet so that everything's the same units. But here, the nice person that made this up, made it up so we don't have to play that game. But we still need to take the derivative. So on the left side, it's going to be the derivative with respect to time equals pi over 12 stays there. And now take the derivative of h cubed. So that's 3h squared. And then times the derivative of h with respect to time. So how fast is the height changing? That means the derivative of h equals what? Because how fast means derivative. So we need to solve for this, which means we need a number for this and we need a number for this. And we happen to have those two numbers right over here. So this side is going to be a 40 and then pi, and I could reduce this because 3 will divide into 12 4 times. So now it's pi over 4. And then h gets squared, and then dh dt. Okay, then I could multiply both sides by 4, And 4 times 40 will be 160. And then there will still be the pi, and 10 squared is 100 times dh dt. And then divide both sides by 100. So it'll be 160 gets divided by 100 pi. And then when you divide 160 by 100, that means move the decimal over by 2, so that's 1.6 divided by pi. Although I could have just typed it in the calculator, because with word problems, you should give a decimal answer at the end. So not an exact answer like this. Because if you are on a construction site and you walk out there as the manager and say, all right, guys, I need you to stop when it's 1.6 over pi. Yeah, you're not going to be the most popular guy. So instead, just find a decimal answer. So how much is 1.6 divided by pi? 0.509. And then the units for that, it is in feet per minute.